Is the food on cruise ships really that good? You know, cruise lines put a lot of emphasis on dining, cuisine, culinary experiences. And I know it's one of the things that attracted me to cruising back in 1978. But all these many years later, we've now been on 139 cruises. Is it really that good? So like I said in my opening, one of the things that really attracted me to cruising back in 78, I had some friends who had been on 2 or 3 cruises, and they kept telling me how amazing it was and that I had to go on a cruise. And one of the big draws was that the food was so amazing. You could eat 7 or 8 times a day. It was all included. And it's like the best experience, best dining experience you could ever have. Well, fast forward to 2023, and now myself and Ricky has been with me on most of my cruises, but I've been on 139 cruises. Now today I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of cruise ship dining. I'm going to tell you what I think are the best cruise ships, the best cruise line for dining, best cruise ships for dining, and I'm also going to tell you which ones I think are the worst. However, this is all very subjective. This is just my opinion. You may disagree or agree with me. That's fine. I'm sure there's many of you out there who've been on more cruises than we have, and maybe even more different cruise lines. But I'm here to tell you, I do have a little bit of experience with cruise ship dining, from river cruises to luxury 6-star cruise lines, mass market cruise lines, big, small. However, it's all very subjective. You know, my tastes may be completely different than yours. So if you agree or disagree with me, please feel free to put it in the comments down below. And if you like this type of content, this kind of cruise content, please don't forget to click that little subscribe button down below. Join our channel. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. We'd love to have you. Don't forget that notification bell, because that's the way that YouTube will let you know we have new videos. So anyway, let's just get right into it and tell you about dining. First of all, let's talk about buffets, because buffets are a big part of cruise ship dining. Virtually every ship is going to have some sort of a Lido buffet or a buffet for lunch, usually sometimes for dinner or breakfast, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Buffets, generally speaking, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, are below average dining. Think of, if you have a Golden Corral in your city, that's pretty typical of what cruise ship dining would be like in the Lido buffet on most cruise lines. Not all. There are some exceptions, and I will tell you what those exceptions are. Ricky and I are not big on eating in the buffet. Now, we do it. We will go to the buffet once or twice, maybe 3 times on a cruise, depends on how long the cruise is. But generally speaking, we try to avoid it for a couple of reasons. We're not real big fans of touching utensils that several hundred other people have touched. So one thing we do like is cruise lines like Holland America, where they have the crew actually putting the food on your plate. I much prefer that to this self-serve affair where you're grabbing utensils. The next type of dining is the main dining room, where you go in, you have a different menu that changes every day. Usually the breakfast menu is the same every day, but lunch and dinner menus will change every day. And generally speaking, main dining is pretty average. It's not, there are a few, but very, very few exceptions. And think about it. It's like banquet dining. It's like you're going to a banquet with several hundred people, and they have to feed a lot of people in a short amount of time. You're just not going to get the a la minute, personal, prepared to order like you would in a specialty restaurant or a restaurant you go to at home. And then there's specialty dining on cruise ships, where generally you pay an additional fee to dine. And the promise of these restaurants is that you will get exceptional food. You'll get a little bit better. Everything's prepared to order or a la minute, and you get better quality food, better service, and that's kind of the how they promote it and how they sell it. And the price to eat in specialty dining restaurants on cruise ships, it can range anywhere from $15 or $20 all the way up to $60, $80, $115, whatever. The last category I'll talk about is kind of unique. It's a new concept relatively within the last few years, and that's what they call a chef's table. And a chef's table is usually limited to a very small number of people. They may only do it 2 or 3 times per cruise, maybe just once per cruise, just depends. Those are usually $100 or more per person. Usually it's a set menu, like a tasting menu, where you get several different courses. And Ricky and I are big fans of this concept. We've done several of them on several different cruise lines. I'm going to tell you which one that we think is the best that we've ever done. You're going to be surprised. I think you will be surprised at who we pick. So I'm going to preface these choices by telling you, once again, I want to remind you, because I know I'm going to upset some people. I know some people out there are going to completely disagree with my choices, that this is very subjective and this is purely my opinion. I don't even know if Ricky would agree with me on all of these choices, but I think she probably would. I'm going to talk about the things that are important to me. I'm not a big seafood eater. I will eat some seafood, so it's hard for me to really judge which cruise line has the best seafood or what's the best seafood restaurant on a cruise ship. If you are big on seafood and you take a lot of cruises, tell me in the comments down below, who do you think has the best seafood on cruise ships? So when I'm listing my best picks from these cruise ships, here was my criteria. If this restaurant where I ate this meal was down the street, say 2 or 3 miles from home, would I go there? Is this something that I would go to a restaurant and order if I were at home? Forget the cruise ship. Is it good enough that I would drive out of my way to go eat that again? I'm a big beef eater. Texas, you can imagine, we eat a lot of steak, we eat a lot of barbecue. And unquestionably, the best steak, in my opinion, on any cruise line, any cruise ship, is Manfredi's on Viking Ocean. Now, we've sailed on 4 different Viking Ocean ships. I believe Sky, Sea, Orion, and Mars. And I've eaten at Manfredi's on every one of them. And I've had the same thing every time. I cannot get past the bistecca fiorentina, which is their marinated and rubbed ribeye steak. It is the best steak on any cruise ship, hands down, period. And I eat steak on almost every ship I go on. And honestly, most of them are disappointing. I wouldn't walk across the street to eat the steak that you get on most cruise ships. I would drive 5 miles or more in my town to eat the bistecca fiorentina. I have actually tried to replicate the rub that they use on the steak here at home when I cook steaks out on my grill. It's that good. Another best, in my opinion, that Viking has is their buffet. It's the World Cafe. That's interesting because it's not a huge buffet compared to other cruise lines. It's not a massive buffet, but I think it's one of the best, if not the best buffet. What makes it so good? I love the fact that at dinner every night they have boiled shrimp, big bowl of shrimp, crab claws. They also have fresh sushi, and it's very good sushi. They have the guy right there making it on the buffet. And they also now have a stir-fry station for Asian dishes, which are very good. They change it every day, the Asian dish every day. They have a selection of hot dishes. Of course, they have the salads, they have the desserts, Their pizza is just okay that's on the buffet. If you get it when it's hot and fresh, it's really pretty good. But if it sits there for a few minutes, it gets stale in a hurry. Now, what about a coffee bar? Every cruise line now, especially the big ships, they usually have this like a 24-hour, or maybe it's just early morning, like a coffee bar. I'm not a Starbucks fan. I don't like a dark roast coffee, so take that into consideration. But I think the best I've seen on any ship, and they're on every Princess ship, and that is the International Cafe. I really like International Cafe, and the reason I like it is because they've got a huge selection of all kinds of little sandwiches and snacks, and at breakfast you can get breakfast burritos, you can get the little Egg McMuffin type sandwiches. They just have a ton of things, pastries, and they're very good. I think their coffee's good, and they have the barista. They can make you any of your specialty drinks. I drink black drip coffee. I'm pretty boring when it comes to coffee, but I like their coffee, and I think International Cafe is the best coffee bar on any cruise ship out there. Now, sushi is also a pretty popular thing right now. In the last few years, and you're probably going to be a little surprised by this, but bonsai sushi on Carnival ships, I think, is the best sushi you're going to find at sea. Now, they are very reasonably priced. The sushi is made to order. It's very good. I love their little ordering system where you check off what you want on the little menu pad. It's just very, very good sushi. You won't find any better. And they've got I think it's a beef short rib appetizer that I tried last time when we were on Mardi Gras that was out of this world. They also have some very good appetizers at Bonsai Sushi that are excellent. And this ties into Bonsai teppanyaki, which is their, where they cook at the table, the Japanese style cooking. Also, it's the best teppanyaki we've eaten. Now, I'm not talking about the best teppanyaki we've eaten on a cruise ship. I'm talking about the best teppanyaki we've eaten anywhere. And we go teppanyaki restaurants locally too. Bonsai teppanyaki and Bonsai sushi on the Carnival ship. So we've eaten at Bonsai sushi on probably 4 or 5 different Carnival ships. The teppanyaki, I think we've done it at 2 or 3 different ships. Always been consistent, always been good. And that may come as a surprise to you, but what probably won't come as a surprise is that we also think Carnival has the best hamburger. Guy's Burger Joint, hands down, best hamburger on any cruise ship anywhere. We've eaten Guy's Burgers on at least 5 different Carnival ships, and every one of them has been exceptional, very, very good. Now, when it came to best pizza, my first thought that popped into my head was Carnival's Pizza del Capitano, I believe is what it's called. But I'm going to have to give it a tie. I think I'm going to have to tie it with Silver Sea's Spaccanapoli on the new Silver Sea ships. Spaccanapoli has exceptionally good pizza, and I would say they're probably tied with Carnival. Carnival's pizza is better than Papa John's, better than Domino's, better than Pizza Hut, better than Pizza Inn. If there was a Pizza del Capitano down the street, I would go down there to eat Carnival's pizza. Same for Spaccanapoli on Silver Sea. Both of them very good, thin crust, crispy. Carnival coming in big on my reviews. I think overall, dining-wise, Carnival does an exceptional job. It's really surprising being what you would call mainstream or inexpensive cruise line, and they've really hit it out of the park on the dining area. We've eaten at the chef's table concept on several different cruise lines. I know I can think off the top of my head Carnival, Princess, Azamara, and I know there's at least 2 more where we've had this chef's table small group experience where they prepare. I know we did it on Viking. So who has the best? These are expensive meals, anywhere from $100 to $130, $40 per person. They're not inexpensive. But it is usually an entire evening, usually meet around 6 o'clock. Sometimes you do a galley tour. I don't know if they're doing those anymore after COVID. Again, hands down, best one we've ever done. Best chef's table experience was on Carnival. And this, I believe, is on Carnival Panorama. And it was incredible. Next to that, a close second would have been one we did on Island Princess with Princess Cruises, but I'd still have to give an edge to Carnival. They really went above and beyond. Just really out of the box cooking and technique. The technique and the presentation was far above anything we've seen on any cruise ship. It was really quite an experience, and we'd love to do it again. It's just very hard to get in. They sell out very quick. Chef's table on Carnival, exceptional. So let's talk about the best room service, because a lot of people, I forgot to mention room service earlier as a dining method or as a dining option. Without question, the best room service we've ever had on any cruise ship is on Silver Sea. And we've had room service on a lot of different luxury cruise lines, and they're usually good. They're usually very good. But Silver Sea really has got room service down to an art. Every suite has a butler, and your butler is who delivers your food to your stateroom. And they'll basically turn your stateroom into a dining room. I mean, with a full linens, china, all the silver service. I mean, it's just like you're eating in their main dining or in one of their specialty restaurants. Room service on Silver Sea is top notch. It's as good as it gets, and the food is good as well. So, and you can order anything from the restaurant menu in the evening from the room service menu. So, just really, really exceptional job from Silver Sea. Now, the very last category, I had to make a special mention of this because it was so exceptional, and it always over the years has been exceptional, and that is the best Asian food. Overall, best Asian food is tamarind on Holland America ships. Now, I've eaten at tamarind on at least 4 or 5 different Holland America ships and have had the same experience every time. It's always been good. This last time on the Rotterdam, I had a Thai red curry, and I asked them to make it spicy, and they did. I was sweating. It was so, and they don't usually do that on cruise ships. Cruise ships usually tone everything down, but they made it to the way I wanted it. And red curry is one of my favorite Thai dishes. We even ate at the #1 rated on TripAdvisor, the #1 rated Thai restaurant in Bangkok. And it was exceptionally good. A little family-owned restaurant. And I'll have to say, I honestly think the red curry that I had at Tamarind was even better than what we had in Bangkok at that little restaurant. Now, I had it twice, 2 different nights, and both times it was exceptional. It was so good the first night that we went back to Tamarind a second time to have it again. And all the appetizers are very good. Everything we had at Tamarind was exceptional. The soups are good. The appetizers are good. It's just that red curry stands out as one of the most exceptional dishes I've ever had on a cruise ship. That's my choices for the best dining and the best restaurants and the best dishes that I've had. I will mention one other thing that stands out, and that was on Celebrity Apex last year in their buffet. The best thing I had the whole week was this oxtail. It was a braised oxtail, and it was really amazing. So I'm looking forward to going back on Celebrity. We're supposed to be going here in a couple of weeks. Very excited to get back on Celebrity. We're going on Beyond, and I'm anxious to see how their dining compares to what we had a year ago, because Celebrity has very good dining. So don't get me wrong. Don't think that because I've picked these choices as my best that every other cruise ship dining is terrible. That's not the case. They're usually good. They're just not exceptional. And the things I'm telling you about today are the exceptional. So now, this is the one you've all been waiting for. Who has the worst food and dining experience in my opinion, of all the cruise lines we've sailed on. Well, there's a couple I can't mention or I won't mention because the cruise lines are out of business. They're no longer around. So really wouldn't be significant. But of the cruise lines we've done recently, I'm sorry, I've got to say MSC Cruises is just falling short in the area of dining. Absolutely, they have the worst buffet of any cruise line we've ever eaten on. The food is just bland, it's ho-hum, it's nothing exciting. Their hamburgers are pre-made and pre-packaged, and they're just kind of sitting there waiting for you to grab one. They're not made to order. Their main dining, the menus are kind of limited, and we've never had a meal on MSC that we thought was exceptional. And I don't think I'm alone. I think I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing. And it's really kind of sad because their ships are beautiful. Their staterooms are nice. I mean, everything else about the ship on MSC is first class. So I'm hoping that the next time we go on MSC, we're going to see some upgrades in the dining. Anyway, those are my picks for the best dining. I think it's Carnival, Viking, and I'm gonna sneak Holland America in there because of that tamarind and the canaletto. I think is an exceptional little Italian restaurant that we went back to twice on the last cruise. I hope you find this helpful. If you like this type of stuff, please click the like button. Much appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what are your favorites for dining on cruise ships. And it really helps if you've been on more than one cruise line so that you can kind of get some comparison going. So anyway, thanks again for joining me today. I'll see you on the next Cruise Report.